Hey everybody, this is Tim Altvader here. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been a full-time entrepreneur, work from home for more than 15 years. Really exciting lifestyle that we get to have. Don't work for a boss, get to wake up when you want to, work with who you want to. And speaking of that, we have a really exciting event today, a conversation that I get to have. I'm really fired up about it. You see here two guests to my left, or maybe you're right. I've got Mr. Brian Cook in the middle. Hey, Brian.
Hey,
now,
Jim.
Brian is a serial entrepreneur, super massively successful. We're going to get his insight today. And on the far left of Brian, we have, get this, ladies and gentlemen, professional baseball player, Chicago White Sox, one of the top relief pitchers in the entire game, Mr. Donnie Veal. Hey, Donnie, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Awesome, awesome. Well, thanks both of you for taking some time out to hang out with us here today. And today's broadcast really is for two people. For anyone that would like to have the type of career that Donnie has had, and at the same time, Brian Cook, with his success as an entrepreneur, is going to help us all become more entrepreneurial and earn even more income. And so I'm really excited about this. So, Donnie, I want to start with you because I got to meet you recently down in near Phoenix, Arizona. We got to hang out a little bit. And it was really, really exciting to hear about your business and your industry. And a couple things that you taught us were pretty shocking. Obviously, you've made the big time. You're a well-known pro athlete. And you told us that spring training is coming up again fairly soon. And I was absolutely shocked about the percentage of people that get into your position, Donnie, and actually make it to the big leagues versus the percentage that, they may have dreamed about this their whole life and they may have some skill sets, but they don't make it to your level. Talk about that just a little bit because it's a pretty shocking percentage.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, I just looked up some numbers, and even just off the top of my head, I thought it was around 10%. Looking up the numbers, it's around anywhere from 6 to 10%. So we'll just say 8% of all people that are drafted or signed actually get to the big leagues. And of those that get to the big leagues, not all of those are staying in the big leagues. And even a smaller percentage get those big contracts that everyone assumes that all major leaguers have. It's tough. It's a grind. It's really hard, and not a lot of people realize everything that goes into it. But like I said, it's a small percentage, and people still got to pay bills. People still got to live. You still got to go on with your life. So.
And, Donnie, that's why so many people like Brian Cook. Obviously, Brian, you could have been a star baseball player, but you chose the life of the entrepreneur instead. And so, Donnie, tell us this. When you talk about the people that are drafted and at least put themselves in the position to become a major leaguer, do they all envision becoming a major leaguer and having success? Because, a 92% failure rate, that must hit a lot of people pretty hard.
It really does. Like I said, most baseball players, when you do get drafted, you envision getting into the big leagues. That's your goal. That's your dream. You don't want to get drafted to be a minor league baseball player. You want to be a major league baseball player and play in front of tons of people and, make that big money that everyone sees all the time. But the reality is that doesn't happen for everyone. And either injuries or your skill set is just not what they want. It is a business, and they're going to take what is most valuable to them. And if something isn't of value, they're going to get rid of it or, let it go or not hold on to it and cherish it. And that a lot of time that could be you, but there's so many people that they can pick and choose the one or two that are going to stick up there. And that means there's 50 or 60 guys left behind that don't get to make it. But still, like I said, you still got to live. You still got families. You still got to pay your mortgage, pay your rent every month. So this is why this is a great opportunity for me.
And speaking of that, one of the reasons we're here, gang, is because you met Brian Cook, you and your wife Stephanie, and you guys formed a partnership. Tell us a little bit, before we interview Brian, what attracted you to this entrepreneurial lifestyle that Brian talked to you about? Because obviously, I think in your industry, so many people need, I guess, what we would call a safety net, because with a 92% failure rate, and one thing that you said to us is any morning, any player could wake up, throw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and their career could be over right then and there on the spot. Everyone needs a safety net. What attracted you, Donnie, to what Brian taught you as an entrepreneur? And then we'll find out Brian's insight on this whole industry as well.
Like you said about that safety net, every baseball player, every athlete, you dream of that safety net, that you can have something you can fall back on, because as everyone knows, at some point, A-Rod, myself, the minor leaguer that just got drafted, we're all going to be former players at some point. That could be tomorrow. That could be in 15 years. But it's going to happen. And we're going to have to do something else with our lives. That's what attracted me to Brian and this team, and the fact that there's I can make a residual income for the rest of my life starting now, and it could still be growing as I'm done with baseball, and 10 years after I'm done with baseball, and 20 years after that, I'm still getting a paycheck from something I was able to do once or twice and duplicate it.
Awesome, awesome. Now, Brian Cook, master entrepreneur, you met Donnie, you met Stephanie, you shared with them a vision of your life, and I think it's so fantastic that even pro athletes at Donnie's caliber made it to the big leagues, and beyond that, still is playing in the big leagues and is known as someone who's at the top of his game. He's attracted to your lifestyle as an entrepreneur. What does that say for us entrepreneurs that have been doing this for a while about what we get to offer people, even pro athletes out there?
It says a great thing, Tim. You know, we're working from home. We're our own boss. We're making residual income. We're traveling the world. We're living debt-free. And yet we're not at risk of injury, unless you consider typing on a keyboard injury, but, carpal tunnel. But we're not like Donnie. I mean, literally, Donnie's working in, getting ready for spring training. He's going to go. He could get hurt in spring training and be done. I'm not saying that, knock on wood. But, like you said, he could throw one pitch and it's done. And then now what? Donnie's got to be like everybody else and go get a job or hopefully create some connections. And what really attracted me to him and his wife is that they're big thinkers. They're thinking of beyond baseball. They're thinking about living a great lifestyle with leverage so they can raise their kids from home and they can, baseball's going to be around right now, but they're setting themselves up for success for the rest of their life. And I like what Donnie and I talked about. He's working on making generational money for his kids to be taken care of. So it's a safety net for them. They don't have to, work hard and go to the major leagues unless they want to. They're going to have this business opportunity that he can literally pass on to his next generation.
I love it. I love it. Donnie brought up something that I think is very critical to whether it be someone who aspires to be a pro athlete or is working towards big goals and there's a chance for failure. It's this concept of residual income. And obviously, Donnie may play and get the big contract one year, but he's got to do it again the next year to get paid. Residual income is so different, Brian. For those watching that maybe they'll end up in that 92% not make it rate, what is residual income and what will it do for someone that falls into that category?
Well, the best way for me to describe residual income is just like I'm a big Van Halen fan back from the 80s, and Tim, I know you are too. So, but they wrote that song 1984, or, they had that album in 1984, right? And they produced that. They put work in one time. They put hard work in. They created that album. To this day, all members of that band are still getting paid every time that song's bought on iTunes or Amazon. So they put in the work at the beginning, hard work, set themselves up. Now that song, you look at Elvis Presley, he's probably one of the wealthiest deceased people in the world because he's still creating residual income even after he's passed. His family's being paid from that. So the great thing about what we do is that there is no, you don't have to have a degree. You don't even have to have a high school education. You don't have to be a professional baseball player. You just have to have somebody that has a vision, big thinker, some drive. That's why I like working with professional athletes. Donnie and I had a conversation the other day. I said, now you're going to play at the professional level with us. And he knows the work he put in to be a professional baseball player. He has that mindset of working hard is going to be towards a big reward. That's why I love working with athletes. You put in some hard work here in the beginning, you got that residual income, that check that just keeps coming in week after week after week, and more effort, more work, makes that check bigger, but then you're helping other people create their residual income, and next thing you know is that you're done. You're good. You can go play, be dad, and not worry about really anything.
Yeah, absolutely. The lifestyle that we have as entrepreneurs is, I think, what a lot of people envision the Donnie lifestyle to be like because, we get to retire pretty young, but our income keeps going. We don't need the next contract to keep living the great lifestyle. One thing that shocked me the other night when we were all connected together in Arizona was Donnie actually talked to us even about his income, his check. And I think, Donnie, one of the most shocking things was you told us the numbers because as entrepreneurs, frankly, we keep a massive percentage of the residual income that we create. In your case, Donnie, due to taxes and agents and all the things you explained, it was pretty shocking the amount of money that you actually get to put in your pocket versus what your contract initially says. What's that ballpark percentage that you get to keep? And then Brian and I, we want to talk about the percentage that we get to keep and that we want to help you guys keep.
I mean, like we talked about, it is shocking. Most people don't realize it until you get to know someone that's in it. On average, I would say around 50%. That's what most baseball players, you talk to your financial advisor, your agent, you just have an understanding that whatever my paycheck says, just know I'm only going to get about 50% of that after taxes and fees. And, there's all kinds of like stadium fee and, union dues, clubhouse dues, you have to pay taxes on your tickets. There's all this kinds of stuff that people don't realize. So that at the end of the day, most of my paychecks will be less than 50% of what I says I'm supposed to make.
Wow. That must have been a shocker, the first one you got.
It was shocking. Absolutely. I remember I got my signing bonus out of college and signed a contract, and I was going to get half of my signing bonus, which is fairly substantial, almost $500,000. And then so I'm like, sweet, I'm gonna get about $250,000. And then I get it, and it said 136, and I was like, oh my gosh. You immediately go to your team. I'm missing some money here. Like, this isn't right. I said I signed for this much. I'm supposed to get this much. So it was a huge shock. And it's like, is this the way it's going to be for like as long as I'm playing? Like, I need to make some changes. I can't be spending the way I thought I was going to be spending, and maybe just start holding on to some of this money.
And that's exactly what happens. A lot of people get into that phase where they think they're going to earn one thing, they go ahead and spend it, and then they end up with less than half the check. It creates a big time problem. And I know, Donnie, that's one thing that you're very passionate about. Making sure people find out about this and not only hear about it, but take advantage of it right now, especially when you have an entrepreneurial coach, just like pro athletes have their coaches, to have Brian Cook working with you and your entire team one-on-one to make sure everyone gets the benefit of keeping more money and making a residual income safety net. That's huge. Donnie, we appreciate your commitment to that. For anyone out there that wants to aspire to have a great income, a safety net long after they retire. And Brian, any final words to those that watch this video and they think, you know what, that could be me. I might not make it to the major leagues, and even if I do, I want to keep more money in my pocket. What do you say to that person?
Yeah, and Donnie and I've talked about us. Those people in the minor leagues, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Donnie, they're basically working part-time jobs. They're scratching to get money to live. They're sleeping on couches. It's not like minor leagues are known for being multimillionaires. It's getting into the bigs. And as you said, that's 92% of people. So the thing is that if you take your skill set, let's just talk work ethic. It's not even skill set, because Donnie's completely coachable, which obviously is why he's done so well in baseball. But as far as being an entrepreneur, owning your own business, he's coachable. I'm telling you, Tim, and you can echo this, anybody can do this. Anybody. There's no discrimination. It doesn't matter what color your skin is, your educational background, where you grew up. It doesn't matter. Anybody can do this. Really, I like to look at it, Tim, is it's really something you can't fail at. If you have the right attitude, the right activity, and make a decision to get started with Donnie on Donnie's team, I'll work with you. Donnie will work with you. We will help you have that level of success that you so desire and give you a plan B after baseball, or even if you fall in the 92%, we can give you a plan A.
Absolutely. So listen, gang, here to close out, we just want to say, after you watch this, get back to Donnie immediately. And I know, Donnie, you'll have not only a conversation, but you'll connect people directly with Brian and even perhaps myself, and we'll have the opportunity to make sure we find out what their goals are, but better yet, help them create some amazing goals as they continue on the path of their career choice that they've made. That's going to be exciting, and I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us today and painting the picture of what we can do for people here in a very short amount of time and help them create something that ultimately everyone wants and deserves. Thanks, Donnie. Thanks, Brian Cook.
Thanks for having me.